Hey, what's up everybody? BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I'm doing another therapy session. I felt it would be necessary. Woke up this morning and my phone was cut off. It cut my phone off. It was a weird situation with T-Mobile where, what I was trying to do is, being that my bill is due on Friday, I woke up this morning stressing all the way out about how I was going to pay that bill. So I'm figuring out how I can do what I got to do, and I figured out a way. So what I was going to do is just, go through my Fidelity account and pay it through there. It's only like 70 something bucks, so selling a share or two is not going to kill me, and I can replace that when I get some money, which I plan on. But the point was, I made the mistake of canceling the payment arrangement with T-Mobile in attempts to make sure that they didn't double charge me, or in attempts to make sure that they didn't try to trigger an extraction from that account for which there wouldn't have been the funds there. So my thing was, rather than to let that happen, let me take care of all of that this morning, get the Fidelity account set up so they can sell those shares, and then try to get it in time for the 3 to 5 days, whatever it would be, so that money could clear and make sure that it gets paid directly through Fidelity. So I had it all planned out in my head. I figured that out in like 10 minutes and I was going to do it. But once you trigger the cancellation of your payment arrangement, and it doesn't necessarily mean you've canceled it. I'm saying if you change it, like let's say you want to take the bank off of there and replace it with another bank, once you do that, they immediately cut you off. Like they immediately literally shut you down to where your phone becomes a paperweight just for changing the payment arrangement in the midst of a payment arrangement circumstance. So my problems, with that was just, it was like, wow, are you serious? So I went from waking up this morning with anxiety because I thought my phone would be turned off on Friday to having it turned off right then and there in my face as I'm sitting here trying to scramble around trying to pay it. So what I did, it was like 5 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. So I just said, I called T-Mobile, sat there on the phone for like 10 minutes and then I was like, you know what, let me just address this later. It was just ridiculous. So I got in the shower, did my little thing, made myself some breakfast, went out to my car, sat in it for a minute, said a prayer, thanked the Lord that I have that back. You know what I mean? Came back in the house, looked at some of the stuff that I have going on, that I have a very, comfortable home. I got a lot of stuff that I could be thankful for in the midst of all my concerns. And it's just like, I said, you know what? Let me just relax, warm up the house a little more, turn on all the stuff to make it feel better in this house. Did a little art, while I was waiting for my breakfast to cook. Ate that breakfast, turned on my very favorite movie, Demolition Man, which I just so happened to have loaded up on my computer that I had purchased like 12 years ago and never watched. But I got a chance to watch most of it. I'm going to watch the rest of it when this is done. But, in the middle of that, after I finished doing all of that, I just decided to address it. And, called T-Mobile about 5 minutes ago. And they gave me no problems. I called them. The lady was really sweet. She just basically said, what I described to you guys about how that turned out and how that happened. And to caution me not to let it happen, and I told her what my intentions were. She said that I can, she canceled the payment arrangement and said I can extend it if I need to, so that'll help me even more if that's possible. But the point is, my phone is back on for the time being, and I have an opportunity to fix this situation. And the good thing about it is, I guess what I can say is, these therapy session videos, all that I've been praying about, all I've been doing, all the things that I've been trying to do to help manage my stress, I was really able to enact all of that this morning and turn my anxiety into something that I could find peace and appreciation within. The art, the eating, the movies, the prayer, and the going out to the car and appreciation and all of that was so very healing for my mental health in the short term that I was able to redirect my energy, turn that frustration, that sadness into production, calm it down, let some time pass, heal up a little bit, and then address the situation to which I had no issues. And that was the point. My anxiety, and as I've been telling you guys, my anxiety and my anticipation concerns always exaggerate my issues to the 10th power. It's always 20, 30 times worse in my head, and that's why I always operate the way that I do. It's because I see about 137 different variables that can all go wrong and very little options to fix it. And that is a hell of a strain for me. So while my mind, it works really well when it's time to talk basketball and it's time to talk social stuff, I can say, well, I see this, and this, and y'all don't see all that. But what it ends up doing to me is when I have troubles and when I have issues, sometimes very simple ones, I'm looking at 7 to 8, 9 different issues instead of just looking at one. So as I grow more mature in this age, in this life, I'm learning how to channel all of that into positivity, channel all of that into productivity, channel all of that into prayer, channel all of that into an ability to hopefully inspire, and from there, just manage my head so much better than I ever have before. So that's what I've gained from today. In the midst of all that it was, what it also was a chance for me to apply not only the practices that I've been devising over the last 4 months out of managing myself, put it in motion, but it also gave me an opportunity to redirect my thoughts and say, yo, this is somewhat of a spiritual attack. Here I am just getting my car back, having only spent a fraction of what I thought it would cost to get it. I'm in the right in regards to my telephone. I'm not delinquent, and yet it gets cut off while I'm stressing about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? While I'm sitting there pulling my hair out about my phone, suddenly the very thing I'm trying to prevent, and it happens. And then from there, you can start going all different directions with my mind. Particularly, I can start feeling dejected. I can start getting antsy. I can start, thinking about all the worst of things. But nah, I stood firm on my faith with this one, just like I stood firm on my faith in regards to the car. And I didn't know how that car was going to get taken care of in terms of me getting out there picking it up. But guess what? It only cost me $30. I thought it was going to cost $120, to be honest with you. Based on the fact that I would need to go to this in place and then give the cops their money and all of that. I thought it was going to go so much worse. I saw no path to it going fine. And yet, on the other side of it, I'm telling you, it was way better than my anticipation even thought it could possibly turn out. Same goes with the phone. This morning, when I woke up this morning, and this is something that I want to tell you guys as well. When I woke up this morning and my phone was in my mind, even before they cut it off, I woke up with that anxiety. The very first thought in my mind was, my stomach isn't feeling good because I got to pay this phone bill and I'm not sure I can secure the funds in time. It's not that I didn't have the funds. It's that whether or not I would be able to secure the funds in time, being that the 3 to 5 thing is always on point, 3 to 5 days to get money from one place to the next with most of these lenders. And that's where my money is. So my thing was, I didn't want to take care of it yesterday because the stock was bleeding. I was going to risk it. I'm just going to risk it. I'm not going to sell anything at $20 or $22. Just wasn't happening. I was going to bite the bullet and give it another day, see if it would recover some or whatever. Because I have till Friday. So I'm like, look, there are other ways I can do this. I don't need to necessarily do that. And, when I was having all of that in my head this morning about, making the mistake and saying, oh, no, that wasn't the way to go. Now the phone, I'm at risk of not being able to secure the funds in time. And I'm anticipating the phone going off. You know what I mean? It's just like something came to me in that moment and said, this ain't that. Those were the exact 3 words that came my way. This ain't that. In other words, whatever it is you're feeling, whatever it is it look like, whatever it is your anxiety is telling you, and whatever it is the reality is forcing you to see, that is not what it's going to look like on the other side of this. When you get to the end of it, your mind is lying to you. It's lying to you. It's telling you need to be more concerned than you need to be. It's telling you need to focus on more variables than necessary. It's telling you that you know what's about to happen when you do not. And I trusted that feeling. That's the reason why I cut the phone off rather than hung up the phone at that moment and decided to redirect my energy elsewhere into showering and all that other stuff that I did, because I trusted that voice. Because that was the same voice that told me that the car was going to work out in my favor in ways that maybe I couldn't see at the time because all the variables of reality were telling me this is what it is. But that voice said, no, it's not. That voice in my head told me that the spiritual equity that I've been putting in to not only myself in terms of praying myself up and my confidence up, but also praying for other people, that mattered. That equity, that spiritual equity, that positive energy, that intent, that unselfish intent, it's coming back to me no different than the karma of doing something wrong to somebody else. And when you do karma that's good, it's coming too. Just like you can scold somebody and say, karma gonna bite you in the backside. When you do the right things, you can stand firm on your square and say, the Lord is gonna come through and fix this situation because I, quite frankly, have done the right things that would make him happy and make him feel like I'm worthy or deserving. Now, I'm not telling you what to believe and what not to believe in, but I'm telling you, this is my truth. And it's what's helping me through the circumstance, not just the practices of real, tangible things like art and showering or whatever, the stuff that I did, but it's the prayer factor that's really what's kept me on the right side of the cliff, so to speak. You know, and that's just my confession of life, and that's just what it is. Without that, I'm pretty certain I would be spiraling, and most importantly, my phone wouldn't be on. I wouldn't be able to communicate with you this. I wouldn't have had the wherewithal to do things the proper way. What I probably would have done out of fear was jump in my car, take all of this nastiness you see here. These are all these bags. I'm not ashamed of any of this. This is called being broke. All of these, I could take down to the recycle spot and probably get roughly about 17, 18 bucks. I've done this enough times to know you ain't gonna get no real money out of that. But the point is, I got that little 18 bucks. I got my little $20 in my wallet, and I got my little $50 in my Cash App, and that's all the money I got to really touch without going into fidelity and jumping into the money that's supposed to help not only myself but everybody I love. So it's like I don't want to touch AMC. I don't want to touch anything that doesn't need to be touched. But I promise you, what I would have done out of fear was probably jump in my car 7 a.m, go down there to the spot to wait for them to open, give them all of that, take all that money, try to find a bank to go deposit all of that cash into it, take all the cash out of my wallet, deposit it into that same bank, and then flush it all to T-Mobile. That's what I would have did just to keep the phone on. I would have done that out of fear. You understand what I'm saying? But because I trusted that voice in my head, because I trusted the practice of praying for others, because I trusted the practice of developing positive ways of channeling my anxiety, because I've developed a peace within myself to live in the moment of frustration and turn on my favorite movie, my very favorite movie, and watch a little bit of it. Let it seep into my spirit. Let it make me laugh a little bit. Let it make me wonder a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And then when all of that is done, when you've gotten that space in your mind where you say, I have balanced out the anxiety with the love of myself, the self-care, you balance that. When anxiety starts kicking your butt and starts throwing punches at you, you return those punches with that love, that self-love, that self-care. And if you're in a position to do even better than me, go get you a massage. You know, if you smoke like I smoke, maybe you light up some weed. I don't have any right now, so I'm living without it. But what I'm saying is, do the things. You know, look at this. This art ain't nothing special. I'm not going to sit up here and say I'm an artist. I'm not the greatest artist, but this is what I did this morning to kind of make myself feel better. You know, just to make myself feel better, I let the energy of my chaos, the energy of this chaos, ultimately, I poured it into that. You know, to show you guys what I've been up to, man, randomly. These are the things that I've been doing to try to get my anxiety out of my system, you know what I mean? Doing various art, discovering my artistic nature. I ain't no artist, no real artist. But this is what helped. Throughout the car situation, those are the 4. And of course, this one with the phone. Just weighs anger so that you don't let your fear and your anxiety and your emotions and the reality of your circumstances as you perceive it. Because even though you see reality, you don't see the plan. You don't see the bigger picture. You certainly don't see the blessings that could be coming. Those are the ways that I found in the very short term. It's taken me 37 years to figure this out. But those are the ways that I fight my anxiety. Not the way that I used to, crawling up in bed, being sad, curling up over and abusing my substances, whatever it is, my weed, or in some cases back in the distant past, 151 Bacardi, because that was my drink of choice. Yeah, I know, nuts, right? But it was. And I'm not on that anymore. Turning maybe even to lust or something. Yeah, no. It's turned to self-love, unselfish prayer and intent, hopes and dreams for not only saving my own situation, but others. Because that's what I ultimately want to fix myself to be able to do. I've been dreaming about being able to create jobs with whatever my brand. You see that BDF stuff? I want to take that, turn it into something, and then create jobs for others, create opportunities for others. Dreams, you know, may not even be possible, but those are the things that I have intended in my heart to see happen with my life. It ain't just about fixing myself, giving myself a mansion, giving myself my favorite cars, and then finding my beautiful life. No, I want to do something for others, and I think that is good karma. I think the intent of doing that, even if I don't live to see that truth, the intent, the prayer of I want to not only help myself but others, is ultimately what makes me love myself enough to want to do these things during a time when I'm feeling anxious. I want to paint a picture for you guys. If I were to be the opposite of that, let my mind go to horrible places, treat people horrible, go outside, try to get my money that way, selling poison in my community, robbing my brother or whomever, to make a way so that this anxiety can go away. When I look in the mirror, I'm not going to love myself the way that I love myself for having good intentions. I'm not going to want to comfort myself out of that anxiety because I'm going to know myself to be a bad guy. I'm going to know myself to be someone undeserving. And that's going to beget more and more negativity. That's going to beget more and more sin. That's going to beget more and more anxiety based on the fact that not only are my circumstances as they are, but that I don't deserve them to get any better. That I don't deserve for them to get better. But when you have that mentality that you're going to be intentional on helping others, what that does for your psyche is make you be someone you respect, make you be someone you want to protect, make you be someone that you want to love, make you be someone that you want to have that person's back. I always said this, and I've said this maybe on this camera once, and I'll say it now. It's very difficult to love others, to accomplish sustainable success. Not that I know a whole lot about that, but follow me here. It's very difficult to do that when you don't have any reason to love yourself. When you spend all of your time being a worse human being toward others, it's very difficult to look in the mirror and feel deserving. I'm talking from experience. I ain't always been a good guy in my mind. I've always had good intentions to a degree, but a lot of times I was selfish. A lot of times I was reacting to traumas, and sometimes other people's feelings went by the wayside for me to protect myself. And I didn't love myself for that. I didn't appreciate that. I'd look in the mirror and say, you don't deserve. I'd look in the mirror and say, yeah, you going through it and you should. You understand what I'm saying? That's not the way you are supposed to be, in my opinion. What you want to be is somebody who's protecting of self, but not for selfish reasons, for the intent of deserving, which is unselfishness. Once you can become of service to others, then you're deserving in your own eyes. Regardless if you are acknowledging that as truth, subconsciously you'll know that those who do wrong deserve worse. Those that do good deserve better. And that truth will sit in your skull, regardless of how conscious you are of it. And you will bring forth your own destruction. You will bring forth your own anxiety. You will bring forth your own troubles by default, simply by not being on your own side and not knowing how to be on your own side. The best way to be on your own side is to be the person that you would be a friend to be a person that you would love to have in your presence if you were not yourself. And a lot of times, for me, that's somebody who cares for others, that prays for others, that looks on having intent to make others feel better, look to make others not go through what I go through, look to make others whatever. You know what I mean? Just to be unselfish. And look, I'm not sitting here saying I've mastered the art of unselfishness. God, no. I'm here to tell you I'm selfish. I'm one of the selfish people I know. And the problem is because I'm selfish, I recognize it in myself. And I've lived the consequences of being selfish. I've lived the consequences of being an island all to myself. And it sucks. It not only sucks from a literal standpoint, but it sucks because I have nothing to show for my life. So yeah, with the time that I have left, now that I'm growing more mature, now that I'm getting to a place where I'm learning how to constructively use my concerns and my mind stuff and all this junk that I got going on, you best believe I'm going to continue to have intent on being the type of person that I can love, being the type of person that I can appreciate, being the type of person that don't have an ego that I look in the mirror and say, I don't like. Your ego in the way, boy. Your ego in the way, sis. You got to get that out the way so that you can be on your side, so that you can be a friend of your future. Because at the end of the day, as I said in the previous video, you are all alone. I don't care how many people you got in your life, how many people you got on your bedside when it's time to go. At the end of the day, you are walking into them gates with whatever there is available to you, nothing that you're sure of. The point of what I'm trying to say is Your intentions, your word, what you stand on, who you try to be in this life is ultimately going to determine what comes your way. And in my case, being selfish and being an island all to myself made me someone who reinforced more negativity within my own self. And thus, it became consequential in real time. Real problems, financial issues, bad decisions, stepping on my own foot in terms of not allowing success to come my way in various forms, not allowing myself to get out of my own way, and most importantly, allowing my anxiety to control my situation because I did not feel deserving. I wasn't just fighting my anxiety, I was fighting the notion that I deserved to feel anxiety. That's how deep it ran. And it affected how I handled other things. It affected how I approached AMC. When I got in AMC, I wasn't handling it properly. Why? Because I was used to failing. I did things from a failing perspective. We talk about Russell Westbrook, and he comes down and jacks up a three-point shot with 1 minute left on the clock, but 22 seconds left on the shot clock, meaning there's a lot more time to run a real play, but he's jacking up a bad shot. That's a losing play. I approached AMC and a lot of other things in my life with that same type of energy, losing, going into it losing, doing the things that don't win. I've learned to love myself, so now I want to learn how to win. I love myself now. Even though I still struggle, I still have the same demons, I still have the same concerns, I still have the same surroundings. But what I don't have is the same intent in regards to how I want to treat myself. And I know how to start that process by having intent toward others, even if I can't tangibly do anything for them. Those prayers for others, those mentioning of others, the acknowledgement that I'm not the center of my own life, even though I'm the only person in the room. That there's a whole world out there that I can be of service to through this phone if I let them know what's going on in here and in here. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help. Nobody's paying attention yet. But everything is lasting. Meaning, if it's on YouTube, it'll be found 10, 20, 30, 100 years from now. And at that time, this will still be relevant. This feeling, this formula of healing yourself and overthinking and allowing yourself to love yourself by ways of loving others, that stuff will still apply 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, 30,000 years from now, because self will still exist no matter what form we're in. Whether it be human or something more evolved, we will always have a sense of self. And with that self will come challenges. And with those challenges will come how we perceive those challenges. And with those perception of those challenges will come some need to fix those problems. And nestled deep in what it is that I've been talking about is a solution for them, solution for you, solution for me. It starts with your intent. It starts with your purpose. It starts with your belief in yourself. It starts with your belief in something greater than yourself. If you can surmise such exists, if you don't see in my life that my application of such is working, even in its smallest form, because if I didn't have that, I would be doing even worse, and I wouldn't have this to give to you. I believe in Christ, but I also believe in you. And whatever it is you believe in, whoever it is you believe in, the Christ I believe in will love you regardless if you saying his name or not. So I trust that that is true, regardless of what others have told me about this, that, and the third. The Christ I know is welcoming of everybody, especially those who don't know him. He loves meeting new people. And you don't have to say, I'm yours. No, you're a new guy. I want to learn to trust you. That's it. Christians don't want to tell you that a lot of times because it don't benefit them or it's not in the scripture or whatever. But I'm telling you, I'm not rolling on scripture. I'm not rolling on nothing. I'm rolling on, I said, Christ help me, and he did. I said, God help me, and he did. And I read my Bible. Don't get it twisted. I do all that. But what I'm saying is if you don't have a Bible necessary next to you, accessible to you, if you don't have that stuff, if you don't believe in Christianity because your life has shown you that Christianity ain't it, I'm telling you that the God I know don't care what name you call him, just that you have the intent of doing his will, which is being unselfish and being somebody that you can love so that you can overcome whatever it is you got going on internally and thus be a friend to your own future. That's what I know. You ain't got to have his name right. You just have to know what his spirit's about. And I've known many an atheist, many a Christian, many a Buddhist, many a Muslim, who all walked in the spirit of good, who all walked in the spirit of Christ. Whether they believed in him as his name or not, his love in them was evident in me. I saw it and I showed it. So don't let these people fool you into thinking you have to do more than love others and love yourself to be in God's good graces. Those are lies. I'm living proof You don't have to have nothing but intent and the desire to love yourself. And that should be enough to help you be somebody that's deserving of better. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for walking with me. I'm out.